Hey, it's Heather, and welcome to the weekend edition of Adventures in Gardening, where we talk about all of the little things that happen during the week that are plant and garden related, and also timely things, things that you either need to be thinking about right now as far as getting ready for gardening, or that you need to be doing right now. So this week here in Connecticut Zone 6, at the beginning of the week, we had a snowfall, which could not have been timed more perfectly because the temperatures dropped throughout the week to, I think last night, it was 9 degrees. Okay, so snow is a good thing for the garden. Snow acts as an insulator and it helps to protect your plants. So that blanket of snow, the timing was perfect because the temperature, I think tonight is even going to be colder, and it's really windy out there right now, so some harsh weather conditions going on. So the snowfall, the blanket, they don't call it a blanket for nothing, okay? It's a blanket and it's tucked everything in for a little bit. When you're a gardener, you tend to really pay attention to the weather. And looking ahead for us right now, we've got a nor'easter coming between Monday and Tuesday. And Tuesday is Groundhog Day. So just a reminder to you guys, the groundhogs, they can't be trusted, okay? They're a little deceitful actually. And whoever decided that we were going to trust the prediction of when spring was going to start to the groundhog? They eat the garden. Why not a possum or even a skunk? I think that would be more acceptable to me. But I'm going to make a prediction right now, okay? With the weather coming and you know, snow, unless someone is holding a flashlight over the head of that groundhog, I think he's going to say he's not going to be scared of a shadow this year. And he's going to say that the spring is going to come early, but you know what? Groundhogs don't really know. So anyway, I know it's all just for fun. So no matter how many weeks left it is until spring, gardeners need to keep themselves busy. So I'm going to tell you some things that I've been doing this week to get myself ready for the garden season. So every year there are things that we all plant from seed that we've just been doing forever, and we totally know how to do it. Whether it's the tomatoes and the peppers, or you know, the cucumbers. We don't need to look them up every single time we sow them. But as you're getting in your seed orders, I want to encourage you to take the time and look up the new things that you're doing this year, or things that you haven't done for a really long time, because there are seeds that need special treatment. There are certain plants that need special treatment before you can sow the seeds. Now, I will tell you, I remember the very first year that I planted milkweed. I did not know that there was such a thing, or that it was necessary to do cold stratification. I didn't know, so I planted my milkweed seeds and they didn't grow. Okay, so that is a perfect example of something that requires that little bit of winter in order to germinate. So this week on my calendar, actually it was on my calendar last week, was to plant my Hosta seeds and my lavender seeds. And so lavender seeds are not new to me. I planted my lavender. I did a fall crop of lavender, and I sowed them, I want to say in July. It took forever for those seeds to germinate. I almost didn't think it was going to happen. In fact, I think I planted a second set of lavender seeds in that same tray. That's how long it took. And so when I went to plant them, I wanted to plant some more. When I went to plant them, I thought, you know, I'm just going to look these up and see what other people are doing or how other people are growing lavender. And apparently you have better luck if you give them just 3 weeks of cold stratification. So I'm like, of course, you know, that is what it needs to have them have really quick germination. So let me see, where did I put them? Oh, here they are. So cold stratification, this is how I do it, okay? I take a Ziploc bag and I put a paper towel in, and then I put some water in the bag, and I let the paper towel get really wet, and then I go ahead and put my seeds I put my seeds in there, and then I put this in the refrigerator, okay? And so it seems from the reading that I did, and some people don't do cold stratification, but what I read is the people who do it have greater success. I like greater success. You? Yeah. Okay. So in the refrigerator, and I'm going to do 3 weeks. Now the other thing that was on my list last week was to do hosta seeds, and I looked to when I have not done something before, I like to see how other people are doing it. I like to learn from other gardeners. And some people did cold stratification and some people didn't. I've got time, okay? And this is why this is a timely thing to do right now. If I had this on my calendar for mid-February to start them, and then I had to do cold stratification I'm going to be behind, is my point. So that's why, think about, as the seeds start coming in, do they need cold stratification? The other thing to check on your seeds is which seeds need light in order to germinate. Okay, there are seeds out there that don't like to be covered at all, like coleus and snapdragons, okay? So the new things that are coming in, check those. Things that have given you trouble in the past, check those too. So hosta seeds, this is the first time that I have tried growing hosta seeds. Now, the parent plant for this was Big Daddy. And so some hosta plants are sterile and some are not. So not all of them are going to produce seeds. And I went around, I knew I wanted to do this last year. I went around and I checked to see who was going to be producing seeds. And Big Daddy was the only one that I actually was able to collect. It was a heat wave, so I can't say that I can't say that it was 100% correct that the rest of them didn't produce seeds, but Big Daddy did. Now, I am not going to get Big Daddy seedlings. That's not how it works with hosta. At least that's my understanding. So again, 3 weeks cold stratification is what I'm going to do for Big Daddy, and then so now my calendar is marked, and I will get these started. So with the temperatures dropping, so the lavender plants that I started last year, I never got them in the ground, and because it took so long for them to become plants, that by the time I thought that they would be okay or big enough to go in the garden, it was like, I think it was too late. I thought it was too late. So I opted to not plant them, and instead I left them in their pots in a tray up against the foundation of the house on the south side. With these extreme temperatures, lavender, they can be funny, okay? With these extreme temperatures, I did not feel right about leaving them outside. Okay, so if we drop below 0, I'm going to go ahead and bring them in. Look at that pretty little guy there. So I took the tray into the sunroom where the temperature is cooler because I don't want them to wake up. It's not spring, don't wake up. So I'm going to put this guy back out as soon as we're done here. But so I have about 12 of these, and I think I've got another 12 that I'm going to start in spring. I just want to see the difference between, in this 2021 growing season, I want to see the difference between the fall started ones and the spring started ones, because I want to do a nice lavender hedge out there. So this week I did a video on using succulents in a craft, and I made this little, the letter T is for Tebow, to hang outside on our garden gate this summer. And so you can look back if you're interested on how to do that, because I talk about propagating succulents, which is super easy to do. But the one thing I left out was how to water this, all right? Succulents are highlight plants that really appreciate going dry between waterings and not staying constantly wet, and I put them in moss. So it's going to be a really long time before I water this guy. It's going to be like crunchy when I push it, okay? The moss is going to be a little crunchy, and then when I water it, I will set it in the sink or the bathtub and let it wick up as much water as it wants. Now, left over from the project, left over from that project, I had quite a few little succulents still, so I put them in this cute little cup. Also this week, I cut my pea shoots and had them for salads. It took about 2 weeks for them to get to the point where I could harvest them. So now I'm waiting to see if I'm going to get an entire new flush out of it, or if that was it. But they were really delicious. If you are a dahlia grower and if you are storing dahlia tubers right now, do you have your calendar marked to check them once a month? If not, go ahead and mark your calendar, because we've got January, February, March, maybe about March. I wake mine up the end of March, so that's 3 times to go ahead and check them, make sure they're not shriveling up and drying too much. I like to give mine a little spritz. So just a reminder to check your dahlia bulbs. So the house plant I want to tell you about this week is a very versatile house plant. This is a ZZ plant, and I have had this one for years. And ZZ plants are known for growing in low light conditions. Now, does that mean that they love low light conditions? No, it means they tolerate them, that they live and that they're going to do okay in low light conditions. I happened to notice, I walked by mine and I'm like, oh, you're looking pretty good. Got that new stalk right there growing. And then I really looked at it and I'm like, you're leaning in one direction. It's time to give you a little more sunlight. And I've actually had it growing way away from any windows for a while now. So it could use a little bit of sunlight. So this is a very low maintenance plant that can go quite dry between waterings, and like I said, it can do okay for quite a while in low light conditions. So that's it for this week. This is a slow time of year for gardeners as we eagerly await for spring to get here, for the days to get longer and to get warmer and to get our hands dirty again, right? But there's always something that you can be doing. I would love to hear what you did this week. Or did you do anything? Did you buy your seeds? Did you get your seed soil? Just drop me a message below, because I want to know what's going on in wherever it is that you're gardening in the world. I would love it if you'd subscribe so that we can stay in touch and that you don't miss out on the next adventure in gardening. Hope to see you soon. And cheers.